in Japan as well still run it, and enthusiastically, as well as other games in the series. And I know there's a lot of people in both chats, in the restream and the Japanese stream, who are very excited for this. So it's already started. This game starts on reset. And he's got a controller pack in, although normally we play without that. So he's going to get a couple of save prompts that aren't normally going to show up. That's actually going to cost him a bit of time, but maybe he'll save. Because if you do soft lock the game, there's no coming back. So if he saves the game, maybe he'll be able to salvage a run in a terrible situation. But here, right from the get-go, there's a big sequence break. He's going to right for the first castle. And that's in the English version, you can't do that. So all runners use the Japanese version because there's extra skips. So here's the sequence break. If you jump into this sign, it allows you to clip up to the top of the level here, and you don't have to collect an item to cross a large gap that would otherwise be required to reach this castle. That item is called the chain pipe, and that's completely skippable in the Japanese version by doing a couple of neat little skips. And that saves about a 6-minute fetch quest that you would otherwise have to do on the English version. So a lot of differences are not just text-based, but also glitch-based. And there's some movement techniques he's already started doing, which I'll get into in a sec. But right off the bat, he's got to farm some money. You need... he'll be probably moving on after he gets between 1,050 and 1,100 of these Rio, which are required for scripted events. There's some purchases that you have to do that are completely necessary in beating the game. So this is kind of a tradition in a lot of Goemon games, is you have to collect a lot of coins. And right now I can hear that they're discussing in the Japanese commentary a newer glitch that probably a lot of Japanese runners of the series haven't seen, which will be coming up at around the 15-minute mark, called the Mokori Slash, which is an interesting zip in this game where if you attack while you're zipping into a wall, it launches your character at an incredibly high speed, and it can launch you through certain triggers like cutscenes and blocks. He was trying to do one clipping out of the sign at the very beginning, but he instantly clipped to the top of the level, so he didn't actually have a chance to do it. But we'll see it later after he collects all these coins and gets through this castle. If you've never seen this game at all, it kind of reminds me of a Ocarina of Time, sort of like an adventure game Zelda type thing. It does share some similarities, but it's got a little bit more freedom of movement, I feel, personally. A little more open world feeling to it. A lot of people did say that it was hard to figure out where to go and things like that when they first played. So for me, it was like the perfect style of game, and it actually grew into being my favorite game over the years. So I'd like to improve my time. I personally have a 1 hour, 19-minute time and 15 seconds, and that's pushed me down to like 6th place. As I said, more recently, people have really started to step it up and take some really good times in this game. So I'm hoping more people keep doing that too. And I don't know if you can hear it. I don't know what you've got playing as the soundtrack, but there's some really good music in this game as well. So he's going with 1,110. That's a very safe number. There should be no chance of him running out. You see, you only need 1,100 for purchases, but as you can already see, he's been using the coins to jump over those large gaps. That, again, is part of the chain pipe skip I mentioned, where you don't have to collect this item. And you can use the coins to jump over gaps. Here he needs to kill all these enemies to collect a silver key, similar to some Zelda games. So he's trying to snipe these enemies out with the coins. Some interesting movement techniques in this game is if you run up against a wall, you actually move faster than if you walk in a straight line. So you'll see him doing that the entire run, sort of pressing the character up against the wall, and it gives him a little speed boost. It seemed like it took him a little while to collect those coins, so he's going to have to pick it up here to go for an exceptionally good time. A 1 hour, 25-minute estimate is pretty risky, at least for me. He's probably not too worried, but there's a lot of risky stuff in this game, and it's really tricky to keep it up. I like Schaf's play style here, just the way he's got the controller right up so he can look at it. Oh dear, he's having some trouble with these floor tiles here popping out of the ground. In this room, you need to kill 5 enemies, and you can make those the floor tiles. The first castle has a lot of technical movement required. Since you don't have any of the magic powers that you can earn later in the game, you can't use a lot of the glitches associated with them to skip through parts of the castle. So this one's played closer to normal than any other part of the game. As you'll see when he gets to magic powers, there'll be lots of glitching coming up. It has been speculated that Schaf has robot fingers. That's how he's able to do a lot of the frame perfect stuff coming up later in the game. This game requires a lot of frame perfect tricks, so it can be hard to get into for new runners, but you just got to pick and choose what skips you want to do. If they're too hard and they won't save enough time, you can bypass them, and it will be interesting to see what kind of safety strats Schaf chooses for this one, because some of them can really cost you a lot if you mess them up. Yeah, like I said, the first castle's played pretty much glitchless for most of it, using the coins here and there to control his movement. Here we should see a run against the wall here. Yeah, that speeds you up a little bit. It's not worth it if you run into the wall and mess it up. So you'll see in like a tool-assisted speed run, it's used constantly, whereas in an RTA, you have to know you're going to run in a straight line for long enough to warrant it valuable. Rooms are going pretty well so far. Here comes an interesting jump where he has to perform a glitch here coming out of the water. That cannot be done on the English version either, as well as this boost coming out of the water he's about to do here. This is Japanese version exclusive, this particular glitch, where if he times it well, he's going to try and take a hit from this projectile to boost him onto the ledge there. If he didn't have the Japanese version running, then he would be required to collect the chain pipe just across that gap. There's absolutely no way to bypass that in the English version, and that's the only part of the English version that requires the chain pipe. So if we can figure out a way past there, English would save 6 minutes from its current status. Right now, it's not viable for any percent competitive category. And yeah, in the English version, those boxes have stars on them. You're not crazy, this game. They changed it. Lost Crusader asks why he got 1,000 coins. There's 2 cutscenes in the game where you're forced to spend coins. One of them's 800, one of them's 300. So that's why. There, he just got on that elevator. He was able to move the camera into first-person view and then back out while he lost control of his character. That allowed him to regain control of his character during this cutscene. And here he's making his way to the boss room without having to watch that cutscene. So that's a really nice skip. They're all clapping. He was able to do it. You can't look at your character, so it's kind of tricky. And if you mess it up, you're stuck until the cutscene ends. And here we're at Kongo-chan, the first boss of the game. He's going for the safer, more reliable strategy of wailing on the boss until it dies. Now you can see it's doing its laser attack. It's invulnerable for about 5 seconds right after those lasers come out. And then the goal is to attack him as soon as he becomes vulnerable after each hit. A lot of iframes on this boss. So basically once he stops flashing red, he's ready to take another hit. And you got to do that while he's rotating in order to save the most time. There's an extremely challenging strategy where you actually prevent the lasers from coming out at all. And you try to attack Kongo-chan while he's rotating slowly before the lasers come out. But that's extremely difficult to do and save time with. I have seen Schaf try it in world record attempts, but you can see, yeah, we call that the clockwise strategy, and he's not going for it here. Much simpler to do it this way. And yeah, Schaf is explaining that exactly right now too. He's saying that it's really hard to talk and do that strategy at the same time. Purposely chose to do the easier strat there. And after the first castle, you get a little bit of a lull here, just mashing through text. The story of this game is really complicated and honestly really silly. The castle he just saved here was hit by an alien laser beam that turned it into a glorious stage. And the sinister plot of these evil aliens who've landed in Japan is to turn the entire country into a stage for their opera performance. Goemon's got to run all across the country preventing that. And here the Lord and Princess Yuki of the first castle are allowing him with the super past to allow him to go out of the first town. So this castle is unskippable. The loading zone for the second town doesn't appear until you get that item. More running against the walls there. Just a reminder that saves time. And here comes the Japanese exclusive glitch that saves another huge chunk of time over the English version. If you hold the C right button when entering a loading zone, it deletes all the actors on screen. This includes enemies, cutscene triggers, water, and some of other items as well. And it saves a ton of time. Right there, you're seeing it save time because walking is better than swimming. And you can't do it here because in a lot of screens, if you're holding the map glitch down and then you try to go into another screen, it'll freeze the game completely. So we have got all of the uses of this map glitch routed out so that we only use it when it's safe, but we always use it when it can save time. And yes, the wall running actually makes it faster even when you're swimming. So swimming against the wall. And this is the Monban, the gatekeeper, who's very excited that you have the super pass. You know, if you talk to him again, he says, gee, I wish this game is called Mystical Ninja starring Gatekeeper instead. Or instead of Gambari Goemon, he wishes it was Gambari Monban. That was the cool jump. We like to call that the swag jump, where he managed to get on that fence and back off without falling. That's a 1 second time save, and it's cool as heck. And he'll be using map glitch for a very long screen right here. So he's just got to traverse this large area. This is one of those large open style areas, but he's just going to run straight to the door. And he's going to be holding map glitch the whole time because there's actually a boss fight that's skipped. If you are familiar with this game but not with the speed run, my apologies, we are going to be skipping this boss. First, he's going to go for a frame perfect jump here to save some platforming. Let's see if he gets it. He gets it. That's really good. Oh, and he misses the second one. But the first one he got actually saves about 8 seconds. So that's pretty impressive. And yeah, this is a very sad skip because this boss fight's actually really awesome. But just holding C right throughout this whole loading zone, or throughout this whole screen, prevents this boss from loading and this cutscene from triggering. I wager this alone saves like 15 minutes. And technically there is a way to skip it on the English version, but it requires a series of frame perfect jumps that so far has not been made RTA viable. Here you can see a building popped up there. He let go of the map glitch well after the cutscene trigger. So unfortunately, no impact yet, but we'll get there. But anybody can do that skip, yeah, using map glitch. They're just discussing in the Japanese commentary that map glitch, yes, it will skip event triggers. That'll be used later too. But like I said, can't skip them all because it will freeze the game depending on where you use it. Right here, we're going to obtain our third character, Yae-chan. Here she is. She's useful in this game. She'll be getting items that are needed to be used later. And she can't be skipped. There's no way to skip her. So we're going to collect her and use her. There is a fourth character in this game, which is Sasuke, the mechanical ninja, who, if you haven't seen a speedrun but are a fan of this game, might have remembered enjoying playing. But sadly, we skip him in this game as well. If you're interested in some of the awesome parts of this game that we don't get to see, I'd recommend watching a 100% run where a lot of those parts of the game are indeed shown off. Schaf has told me that he is not going to start doing 100% runs. He finds them to be tedious. But there are a lot of runners out there who do. If you just go to speedrun.com, you can check out the leaderboards for both categories. And if you like Sasuke and don't want to skip him, you can watch it 100%. All right, coming up is the newest big discovery of the game. It's been a couple of years now, but it's called the Benkei skip. It's a very difficult trick. Let's see how long it takes Schaf to get it here. He reads the text and normally, oh, he got it right away. That was incredible. I'm just waiting for the clapping. Yeah. I don't think the audience fully understood what happened. It's very difficult to explain too. Without using that glitch, there's a 3-minute fetch quest that's required, where on your way to that guard of the bridge, his name is Benkei, he'll tell you that you need to fight him to cross. And to fight him, you have to help a fisherman collect fish so that he gives you the weakness to that guard. You can skip all of that by performing the Mokori slash, which I hinted at the beginning. That's when you hug up against the ladder and you have to hold the joystick on the N64 at a very precise angle, and your camera has to be facing you at also a good angle, or else this doesn't work. And then you rotate the joystick to bottom left and let go. And on the same frame that the joystick goes neutral, you press B twice, and it launches Goemon, or any character that you happen to be using, really far in that direction and that the camera's pointed. And it launches you through the wall and lets you climb up to the top of the level and walk right into the loading zone behind Benkei, which is an amazing skill that we thought was TAS only for a while, until the TASer, Mach-san, was able to show how to do it, and the other Japanese runners perfected how to learn it. And then it was brought over to America when Paikin and Yashiichi were running this game a few years back, and they started doing attempts that used it. And then everybody learned it, and it made it for a huge sort of resurgence in running this game, because it skipped 3 minutes of boring fetch quests near the beginning of the run. And it just really added to the enticement of wanting to speedrun this game. And Schaf got it so fast, it was hard to even find time to explain what's going on. But that trick is really something, and we all love and hate it at the same time because it's really hard. And here he's on the dragon. That's right. You walk on a dragon in this game, and at the end of the dragon is a mind control device that's controlling the dragon into stealing children from the cities of Japan. And here he's pausing for a frame-perfect cutscene skip, and he did not get it. If you pause the game the same frame that dialogue appears, you skip it completely, it saves a good chunk. I'm thinking, well, we used to say it saved like 8 seconds to pause there, maybe a little bit more, since the pause itself does take a few seconds. This is called the dialogue skip. He didn't get it, but there's a few more later in the game. You get one chance to pause the game on the same frame the dialogue appears. You get it, you get a good time skip. You don't, you just keep playing. But there's a few more, so I'll bring them up as we get to them. As he's destroying the mind-controlling robot so that our dragon can have free will again, you'll notice this boss goes invulnerable and shoots the balls. When it's vulnerable, you have to hit it 6 times total. And we found out even if you were able to somehow glitch a stronger weapon, this boss doesn't have a normal health bar like the other bosses. It just takes 6 hits no matter what. Now, they're discussing why he's using coins if he needs to save them for later. If he uses his melee weapon on this boss, there's a chance it could hit him. And if you get hit while fighting this boss, the game freaks out and starts teleporting your guy all over the place. It's crazy. Your chances of falling off the dragon just go up enormously as soon as you take damage against that boss. Here's the dragon. It's actually a person that you rescued from the mind control. Now he has free will again, and he's just so ashamed that he was kidnapping children that he's going into hysterics, and you have to say, please, calm down, we'll go rescue those children. And Koryuta, the name of the dragon, in this cutscene will give you a flute. The flute is used to travel to places you've already been to, and it's given to Yae-chan, and whenever you want to go back to a place you've already been, you play it, and you go there. So it's basically your fast travel, and it's used in any percent quite a bit. Using the map glitch, there's actually a way to skip obtaining this flute and still be able to beat the game. So we've joked about a low percent category where you're not allowed to travel using the flute, since it is a skippable item. But I still haven't seen a run of it yet. I think DCX was talking about doing that. There's the flutes. Okay, so right there he went in and out of that one room to set the travel flag, so that after he climbs these stairs, he can just use the flute to get back down instead of playing it. These stairs are a bit of a pain. It's a hard place to they're just saying it's a hard place to do commentary and run at the same time. And I know when I'm doing runs of this game, I try to like never slow down on those stairs, where like if you run into a stair, I feel bad, like I've made a mistake. This is really popular music. I don't know if you guys, what part of the game's music you're hearing for this, but if you look it up, this is called Mount Compira. The music for this is really popular. They're discussing how many players when they were kids thought that was their favorite part. Schaf is saying his favorite part of the music might be an area called Tosa, which we'll see right after this. He's also explaining how this game's English version is a very expensive cartridge, and he's explaining that the sequel to this game, if any of you in chat have heard of the sequel, it's called Goemon's Great Adventure. This is the English version of the sequel to this game is very expensive. Around, I think, a while ago I saw it for $80 on Amazon. So if you're okay with playing Japanese versions of these games, they'll save you a few bucks for sure. And they have more glitches. So this is the dragon cutscene. You have to play it every time you want to travel fast, but it's all routed out. Anytime walking would take more than like the 15 seconds, you just use the flute. And here's Tosa. This is the part where Schaf said he liked the music. Another thing a lot of runners do with this game is switch their weapons using the C left button along with the music in the game. Schaf's doing that right now because it actually makes a little sound when you switch your weapon. Here with map glitch to reduce lag. Map glitch reduces a ton of lag in areas with lots of water and enemies and stuff like that. And there's the time stopping glitch right there where he started playing the flute, then pressed the Z button to go down the ladder and came back up, and it froze time. And normally those light colored tiles on the bridge would fall underneath you, causing a ton of lag and forcing you to have to time your jumps all carefully and everything like that. So freezing the time there by climbing down the ladder right after playing the flute stops that whole bridge falling sequence, and it saves a ton of time on lag. The commentator was amazed by that, about the bridge not falling. You see all the wall running here, and still more map glitch to save time on lag. This is interesting that the game does this. You have to talk to this NPC to trigger the next event in the game. It's just a check. You have to come to this area first, talk to somebody in that coffee shop. There are 2 or 3 people who would work, and then go back to the town you were at previously, or else the next event won't load. And he's just explaining that too. Someone asked him, why did you just go there? So this part of the game is a little bit of a lull, I would say. This is why the Benkei skip helps a lot, because without it, that would add just another 3 minutes to this. It's mostly walking and collecting until you have some of the tools in your arsenal to go through the game fast. I like to think it's similar to Zelda 2. When you get the fairy spell, then you can go back and start doing all these things really quickly. In this game, you need Mini Ibisu. This is the superpower he's on his way to get. See how small that character is? That character says Hisashiburi, which in Japanese means nice to see you again, or long time no see. But we skipped the first encounter of this, so it's kind of more like we should be saying nice to meet you. But we make that joke. It's like, Hisashiburi, hajimemashite. And like I said, on our way to get Mini Ebisu power, which will allow us to glitch through the game and save a lot of time. Interesting. Usually we switch characters before this, because you have to be Ebisumaru to learn the Ebisumaru power. Yeah, the first mini game here, you have to collect 8 candies, and if you are seen collecting the candies, something terrible will happen. There's some RNG factors to this. I've had it where I'm like completely screwed over by the RNG, where the candy will fall somewhere that I have to run in view of the thing that's watching you that you're not allowed to be seen by. Like, that's fine, you can get to that candy in time, but sometimes it just falls where you have to get seen, and also the enemies can fall right on you. It's yeah, messed up a little bit. So look out, Mr. Saturn! No! The Mr. Saturn looking guy. He needs one more, and they fall on a set timer, so the only real way to save time in this minigame is to collect the last one as quickly as you can. So the best case scenario maybe would be if you jumped and the last one landed on you. It would save the most amount of time. And now that we have Mini ABC power, we're going to immediately use it to sequence break the game. So expect some crazy shit if you've played this game casually. Sorry for my language there just then. But if you've played this game casually, you're about to see something that maybe is different from what you would expect. So here we go. You press C up to shrink. You jump. Wow. Okay, Schaf is a master at this trick. He gets it like every single time. Right there, when you, yeah, there's the clapping in the audience, everyone. That was impressive. Yeah, Craigasms are popping up in the Japanese stream right now. What you say now? So when you get Ibisumaru and you shrink, you jump. If you're jumping, you press no inputs at all while you're in the air. And after you land, yeah, he's flicking the stick there to show. You flick the stick 1 frame. Or you flick the stick so that Ibisumaru moves for 1 frame. And then you press C up again, and then you can control Ibisumaru while he's transforming into normal size. And you can clip through walls during that controlling period, but only sometimes. Sometimes it doesn't work. And you have to do all of these frame perfect inputs within a 12 frame window of landing the jump as Mini ABC. So basically, it's something that you can practice hundreds of times a day and still not be as good as this guy at it. Watch. He just got it. Amazing. That's the one we call the swag slide. In Japanese, the term they use for that trick is iminashi slaido, which means meaningless slide. It barely saves any time, but it's cool. And here we're on our way to Omochajo. This is the Ghost Toys Castle. This is why he needed to climb those stairs. He has to use the fire Goemon to light these torches to get into the next room of the castle. Good news is that the fire Goemon also does more damage against certain bosses. So we'll be seeing that later in the run, but not this castle. There's another perfect slide. He has not missed any of them yet. He is known for that. Everybody says he's a slide beast, Schaf. I taught him that. I taught him what it means to be a speedrunning beast. He's proud of that. Just had to refresh there. So he used the UFO Catch arcade game machine there to get the mini wind-up camera. And it's actually faster to Ibisu slide into the game while the camera is being picked up, then slide back out, which he's getting trolled here. He's doing perfect slides, but the wall's not letting him through. Not much you can do about this. This is pretty much random as far as I'm concerned. He's like, let's try a different part of the wall. Shogunai, I just heard him say. That means, well, this can't be helped. And this always happens. That's what they're saying. So now he's got the wind-up camera, but the reason we try to slide in and out of the UFO Catch machine is to get right to the door with the camera, so you don't have to stay in there any longer. But yeah, this is just awful. Gambare. That would be something that if you were going for a world record time, you would probably reset. But it's a marathon luck type thing. There's nothing you can do. Slides are random, as far as I'm concerned. He's still in there. Okay. All right. I'm going to refresh here. But once he got through, so now he can continue on through the castle. You'll see him use the wind-up camera pretty soon. First, there's a room he can map glitch right through here, where there's ghosts that you're supposed to kill, but if you just map glitch and use mini Ibisu, you can bypass that room. The next one coming up right after, you do have to kill the ghosts. To do that, you take their picture using the wind-up camera he just earned, and then they become vulnerable. All right, so here he goes into the map glitch one, where he skips the ghosts. That's really nice. We used to not realize you could just map glitch that, and we would try to actually slide through the barrier using the mini Ibisu slide. Basically, any trick that can eliminate the need for an Ibisu slide is nice for me because they're hard. Right, so he's good to go with his items there. There's a way to get this far in the game without having the camera in your possession, and that's bad. You don't want to accidentally not get the camera. The music for the castles in this game gets progressively more interesting. By that I mean it adds more instruments as you get farther in the castle. Okay, I'll explain. He just took some damage there on purpose to set up for this death warp. This is a really good death warp coming up. You get a maximum of 2 death warps without collecting free lives. So you start with 2 lives. You don't want a game over. Game over takes you to your last save point, and since we don't save, game over is not an option. Neither is reset warping. So that's what we call a water slide. They're much easier to do than ground slides. And here he went very safe. He had a lot of extra health for this death warp, so... yeah, he has to die because he map glitched. So the only way out of this room is to die there. So that's what he got. Yeah, it's faster to do that room with the death warp, just listening to what they're discussing. But you're going to want to go in there with no health or a minimal amount of health to make it the most amount of time saved. He was just playing it a bit safe. Here's a room with both ghost enemies and regular enemies. So he's tried to route it out to get them all to cluster up to him since you have to take that picture. You got to avoid the Kool-Aid unless you want to die on purpose. So we'll see what strategy he uses for the next room. There's a couple of different ones you can do depending on how fast and how risky you want to go. If I know Schaf, he'll do the Goemon coin hover strategy, staying on the upper levels. There's a faster way discovered that you actually use the coins to hover down to the tight ropes that these things are spinning on, And wow, that was quite the save there. He almost fell in the Kool-Aid by accident. Now he's just waiting for the top cycle. That's going to cost him a bit, but yeah. My method is I actually go into the Kool-Aid on purpose, and I swim across with Ebisumaru and do a water slide out, since that also sets me up for the next Death Warp in the castle, which you get a little bit of choice where you want to do your Death Warp. Again, depending on how risky you want to take it, how much time you want to save. If you Death Warp in this room, it's about 5 seconds slower than the alternative Death Warp, but you don't have to worry about managing your health as much. So for example, in the previous room with the spinning tops that he was just in, he could have done the Kool-Aid swimming strategy instead of having to wait on the platforms for the top cycles. So if you can do that, then the Death Warp in that room's faster. But what he's going to do is set up for the Death Warp in the other room coming up, which will be about 5 seconds faster. Normally he can swim through this Kool-Aid, but he lost some health, so he does a perfect Ibisu slide, which is amazing, and just runs out of bounds to get there. I love doing that one because running is faster than swimming, and if you're really good at doing the slide, that does save time as well as save your health management. Coming out is the infamous billiard room. Some really cool strats in this billiard room. We'll see what Schaf goes with. I know Schaf has a very impressive one where he just stands still and throws them all in one spot. Oh, that was okay. Pretty quick recovery there. I've been able to see him just stand there and throw, and all 8 balls go into the same pocket immediately, which is really, I don't know how he does it. I do a sort of a run around strategy where I follow the balls in a way they're not random, so you can plan your route there. And then yes, this is the room where if you Death Warp, it's a little faster than the one I was mentioning before, but overall, I think he lost time doing it this way because of the riskier strat used in the spinning top room. There's more wall running there. If you're just joining us in the middle of the run, running up against a wall is faster than running in a straight line. Now that's a slide that only saves like 8 seconds, that slide he just did, but he got it immediately perfectly. So no big deal. Slide beast over here. That's the thing with slides, is you have to decide, is the 5 seconds I'm going to save worth trying to do this really hard trick? And for him, it's absolutely worth it. It looks great, and it saves time. So you got to start as Ibisumaru for this boss. You have to take his picture. This doll is based on a Japanese doll. Sorry, I don't really know much detail. Darmanio is the name of the boss. There, you gotta hit the heart. There's ways to get 3 hits in one cycle, so let's see if he can get it. That's what he's going for. 2 hits. Oh, he got 3 hits on the first cycle. I like to do that method as well. Some people switch to Goemon so they can throw a coin after the boss jumps to try and get the 3rd hit. But not necessary. You can do it just with Ibisu's hammer. Here you can get another 3 hit after the boss jumps again. So let's see if he gets it. He got it. Okay, but now the boss is still invulnerable and he has to get a 2 hit here to get optimal time save. And he missed it. So he got 1 move skip on this boss out of the 2. Oh, and he got bad luck on those firecracker bombs. Oh, so he missed it. Sometimes this boss has a random chance when it throws those firecracker bombs that they'll be duds and they'll go onto the floor and do nothing. So when that happens, you have to react very quickly because the boss is going to become vulnerable as soon as the firecracker goes out. So that's what happened to Schaf just then, and he was unable to get the time saves from getting 3 hits in one cycle, sadly. All right, he's talking about skipping the cutscene here. If you pause, you can skip that 1 line of dialogue, but it doesn't save enough time to warrant pausing. Now we're actually playing the castles out of order pretty soon, so these cutscenes, even if you could read Japanese, wouldn't make any sense. Even less sense than they already make when you can't understand what they're saying. One funny fact is that this boss, or this bad guy, Mystery Man, he refers to Goemon as Fernandez for no reason. The explanation is that he's just so powerful, he chooses a name for people he talks to. So he calls Goemon Fernandez. This is a good one. You play the flute and you just mash A because you're going back to the first place that you were in before. Hakure Machi. So it's on the default cursor when you play the flute there. Just mash A. That's right. If you want to get into speedrunning this game, there is a Discord. You'll have to ask user DCX for an invite to that, and we do weekly races on Japan time is Sunday morning, so I guess Saturday evening. And he got the cool jump. That's 2 for 2 on the cool jumps. And he's 1 for 3 on the cool slides, and he missed the second cool slide. We sort of bypassed him. But he's getting all the swag tricks, you guys. Don't worry about it. This run is full of meaningless swag. Yeah, he's explaining here a little bit of map glitch at the start of this room. Let's go a map glitch and those rotating platforms start. He gets onto the platform where he has to wait for a rotator so he can change character. It's a pretty efficient way of routing. There are some slightly faster methods that allow you to change character in ways that would save you more time, but not necessarily would save that much. So, really neat route there. And you got to get through here with a slide. Uh-oh, sometimes if this slide blocks you, sometimes it can be a real pain. Again, this is another Shogunai moment. All right, we're there. We're through. Yeah, that deserves some clapping. There's the audience going. But yeah, not a fan of that. We call that the cave slide, and I myself have reset on that slide many a time, or at least lost lots of time on it. All right, so this is Festival Village, a Matsuri Mura. And here comes one of the scripted events. He's noticed he only has 363 coins when he started the game with like 1,100. He already bought an item called the Quality Cucumber. Oh, there's a one frame trick he could have gone for there that he just didn't. So this is the second scripted event where you have to spend 300. He's on his way there. We'll see what method he uses to climb this mountain. This mountain climb has a couple of interesting strategies, including a soft lock potential one, which he might go for. First, you let go of map glitch there so the rock pushes you up a level. That skips another fetch quest that you need to upgrade your weapons for. You can skip that rock without using map glitch, but it's much harder to use a slide. Here he's going for the risky strat. You slide down here, you press Z by the ladder. You got to do it in the right spot. Oh, he's losing some time. And, oh, he didn't realize. Oh, then if you press A, you infinitely rise until you throw a coin. He had to abandon it because he didn't think he was going to rise infinitely. So it surprised him and he threw a coin too early. But what you do is you rise right up until you get to the level of that house. And then you throw a coin. And it skips having to climb those ladders. There's actually potential that trying that strategy can soft lock the game. But he didn't soft lock, thankfully. Now we're talking to Itako. This is a witch. She's basically like a seance or like a fortune-telling type of witch. Or she talks to dead people, rather. Beefed it. It's okay. It's okay. At least he went for it. Sometimes it's better to show off a strat on your third attempt than it is to skip it entirely, especially in a marathon, so it was fun to see. He might try it again later, the infinite flutter glitch, the Goemon flutter, we call it. I think the Japanese name for that trick is Hero Jump. It was interesting doing speedruns with him and a few other Japanese runners because the names of the tricks are different. It's funny, you have to learn the name of a speedrun trick in a different language. Here's Monoshiri Ji-san. This is the old man. This cutscene is just all muddled up. Honestly, it makes no sense. But this old man's telling you how to beat the game. And the next event for the next castle won't load until you talk to him. Or more accurately, pay 300 coins to this witch so she can talk to him. It's all fake anyway. You find out later she's not a real seance and she faked all this. But somehow she's aware of who this old man is, and she's able to astral project him. She's a scam artist, is what I'm saying. And we're on our way to get our second magic power, second and final for the any percent run. The only other one you'll need to beat the game. We have not yet found a way to skip this. And it's the mermaid power. So first we got to travel to the waterfall of Keegan. Whoa, I didn't realize that I should have had a spoiler alert out here. One thing I will mention about the language in this game is that Japanese people don't talk the way people in this game talk. Got a very medieval air of fake anime language, and each character speaks with using a different regional dialect to suit their personality. And so I know for a fact that even Japanese people can't really understand what's going on in this game because of the way they talk. And yet you need the mermaid power up coming here to get to the next castle. You simply cannot enter the next castle without this power. You can do everything except enter the castle. We've managed to get right up to the castle door. We've managed to get inside and do everything we need without actually getting inside. Here's a funny thing about this minigame. It's all A mashing. You see an interesting mashing method that Schaf is doing. He's using two different thumbs or parts of his fingers, two fingers, to alternate mashing the A button. I saw him do that and I was just kind of a little stunned. The interesting thing about that minigame I'd like to bring up, if you didn't know, is that you can hug the left-hand side. You saw that none of the Mr. Saturn guys were falling onto him. The Mr. Saturn guys won't fall down the far left side, but only in the Japanese version. In the English version, they fixed it, and you'll get Mr. Saturns falling randomly all over the place. Be careful. Yeah, he uses half his thumb to press A. All right, let's see if he goes for this slashing. He's not doing it. If you slash right when you're hugged up against the wall and that village woman, then you get a Makori slash that zips you forward a little bit. It's really fun. I'm surprised he hasn't been going for those since he's been getting a lot of swag in the other parts of the game. Oh, he got a mermaid slide while transforming there. That's really cool. That's something that was that's added. That's a pretty new addition. I think that strat saves a few frames. He's moved forward while turning into a mermaid instead of just sitting still. Explaining swag to a Japanese person was an interesting conversation I had. The word they use to describe things that are similar to swag, like the tricks that you don't necessarily need to save a ton of time, but they require some pretty skillful level of playing. They call those the iminashi tricks, which are the meaningless tricks. So when I describe how we use the word swag in English to to show like maybe you have enough bravado to do something that's really risky, but you know you're going to, and the reward isn't worth it. The whole reward is that you've done it. That's similar to them saying that the trick was meaningless, but they did it anyway. Here is a water slide. He's describing this too from the Mizu. The water slide is really good there. Instead of having to do a slide from the ground, that was added quite recently, and it saved a lot of heartache in this castle. The sliding from the ground there has a higher risk of soft lock. If you go out of bounds there, you do soft lock. There's another water slide. I don't think the sentiment behind Iminashi is coming across here. The idea is that you are doing something great because you're only doing it for yourself. Like there's no meaning behind it other than doing the act itself. It's hard to explain. If you want to say something was cool, you could just say kakkoi jump. That's another word for a swag jump. But that just says cool jump. So he refills his health and coins there. I forgot to mention these Chopstick jumps are really cool and tricky. It looks like he's having trouble getting the setup here. He's going to reset up this chopsticks run. So if you set it, it's really tough to point your guy in the right direction, move the camera, and then move your guy on the chopstick. That's a very small hitbox to walk along, and he got both of them, although he did have to reset up for the second one. That's a tricky chopsticks. And this castle makes everybody hungry, so I hope you all had your breakfasts. And we just gotta wait through one more big box of dialogue, and then we'll get to everybody's favorite part of the game. I'll avoid spoilers, since the commentary is not synced up. I will ask if the chat is interested in hearing the song that they won't get to hear, with just my meager rendition of it. I'll leave that up for chat to decide. What do you think? Should I sing it or not? If you know the song, you should join in too. I heard somewhere that people do that. Oh, he just got a dialogue skip by pausing on a perfect frame. There's some clappa in the audience for that. That saves a good chunk. 15 seconds maybe. Happy about that one. Oh. Okay, thanks. People are asking Schaf to sing in his chat. All right, well, guys, get ready. Get excited. We're going to see some dash, dash, dash. This is what we all came for. This is the part of the game that sold it to me. Dash! 燃える太陽背に受けて行くぞ発進マシンがうなる俺は機械た鉄人だ Hey! 今解き放ってよ鋼の魂行くぜ Breakdown! 悪い奴らをぶち壊せ必殺必殺限界パワーだ百列パンチ俺はゴージャスインパクトダダダッシュ Hey, Schaf just shouted out that I was singing. Danzaru-san. Go, Schaf, go. Gambare. Now the giant robot that you're using to save Japan is destroying towns and stuff. This is sort of an auto-scroller, not much to be saved or lost on here. If you'd like, I could sing Go Just My Stage later. There, Schaf joined in for the da-dash dash there. He's discussing, he was actually shooting coins to the music there too, so a lot of silliness with this run. This is a really fun-loving speedrun community, I think. When we play, we do a lot of silly things. And this is the best thing of the game, is these giant robot fights. When I first saw this as a kid, I was completely blown away. After like running around Japan, doing little castles and stuff, and then you get a boss like this, to me that experience was really something. Of course, in the speedrun, we just combo punch him in a stun lock, and you don't actually see how this might play out in a blind run, but we can see how well he does with chaining the combos. It's actually pretty difficult. There's a small frame window you get to input the combo again, which in this case is up C, down C, up C, A. And to get that hyakuretsu panchi, which translates to the 100 punch or the 100 hand punch, we watch the health bar, and we just use math to decide when to do the attack. And yes, the sequel has 2-player co-op giant robot boss fights. And then we finished him off with a giant laser beam. And he actually had a perfect boss fight there. So lots of applause coming from the audience. That was very good. Congratulations, Schaf, on that boss fight. Omae mo shindeiru. Someone in the English chat there. And now you hold map glitch to skip this cutscene where Impact is like, hey, I'll see you guys later. Yes, you skip the dialogue. And then he made Yaichan sparkly, which is a swag trick. If you let go of the map glitch button as the screen is fading into this dragon cutscene, you can teleport up like that and you get Yaichan all sparkly. I don't like doing that because if you do it too early, you have to watch the cutscene that you skipped. They're literally talking about me in the Japanese commentary right now. Okay, now you actually have to talk to Benkei. This is more scripted event stuff. To beat this game, you need 4 miracle items. The moon, which you get from the first castle. The flower, which you get from Ghost Toys. The snowflake, which he's about to get here. From the kappa. So, by the way, everyone should spam kappa in the chat. We encourage that during these speedruns. Because he's about to see kappa. And then the 4th miracle item will be coming up from another castle. But they're required items to beat the game. And he'll snag the snow item right here and then head to the castle to get the star. And then with those 4 miracle items, you can travel to the final castle. So that's sort of the overall goal here. It's a little bit of walking to get to the next castle. We'll be in some areas we've never been to before. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed that Kappa. A real life Kappa. Name was Kihachi. Here comes a lot of people's favorite music. I'm hearing that from the Japanese commentators saying this is his favorite part. Alright, so Schaf is using an outdated method of this strategy, which I would suggest he learn the new one. He's trying to use, the water slide to levitate out of the water there. That requires a little bit more of a precise jump in the water than sliding out of bounds in that screen. So there's a new strategy where we slide out of bounds and go straight to the door for this next section. That's a much more reliable. I should make sure to send him a message about that. And yeah, normally Schaf will be switching weapons along with the music here. He's doing it now. Yeah, they're like stopping to listen to him switch the weapon to the music. Oh, he's doing it perfectly. He's got it. He's got the beat. This is always funny to do if you're like listening off Amarek or something and your controller or your audio is a few milliseconds off from your inputs. Then you're trying to play music on your controller and it just doesn't work. There's a new strategy here too that I don't know if it's used. It might be in the world record. I'd have to watch again. But you can slide into a rock on this screen, and Ebisumaru stays floating in midair, and you can control him around. So you actually go in a straight line to the top of this hill that's right to his right now, and you go over it because of your Superman ability, and fall right down into this door. The Superman strat. It's a brand new one. And another use of map glitch here, if you're joining the run late, all you do is hold C right when you enter a new loading zone. and all of the actors will despawn. And this includes enemies, sky, and water, which are some really lag-inducive actors. And it also will eliminate the door at the end of this room. Normally there's a door with a very remarkable symbol on it. You'll see it right here for a second. Boom. When you let go of map glitch, the loading zone reappears along with the door. That door is supposed to have Sasuke throw a firecracker bomb at it. You could use an Ibisu slide to go through it, but in the Japanese version, you can also just use map glitch. So Sasuke has a couple of fail-safe ways to skip him. Oh, he went for the meaningless jump there. That's more of a YOLO jump, is what we call that one. Because if you fall, you really lose a lot of time. It's not that necessary. So that's impressive. He went for a jump there that's really tricky and really risky. Yeah, we're seeing some YOLO jump cock there. Yeah, he's doing that jump without using any sliding or potential glitches is much harder, and he's saying it's really scary, and in most runs he wouldn't have done that. So, impressive jump. Let's see what he does for this strategy. First, you got to slide in here. This is the Koinobori room, and if he's gonna go for this, he's gonna slide into the ladder. Oh, he's going for it. Okay. So if you slide off of the Koinobori's tail into that ladder and press Z and jump, you get Ibisumaru's infinite flutter, and if he doesn't hit anything on the way up, he can flutter right to the door of the boss, and he did it. That's a very impressive trick. I myself have never done that in a run. That was something. That was really good. He did it. He got that. That's the Ibisumaru Infinite Flutter glitch, and its application in the Festival Temple Koinobori room saves a lot of time, and it's really new and it's really impressive. So this chat explosion here is really nice to see because of that. Okay, he's excited about this boss now too. This was a good castle overall so far. He's got to slide into this boss's platform using that crazy glitch. He gets it immediately because he's a slide beast. Here, the boss's weak spot is exposed, and it takes extra damage to the fire Koban. So he's going to pop him in the head with one of those. You got to hit him with exactly 3 fire Koban and exactly 2 melee attacks. That gives you a kill. If you overkill him by getting these in the wrong order or using too many fire Koban, you will freeze on the boss screen. You'll have to go out of bounds and void out just to fight him again. Excellent boss fight. He's going to go for a cutscene skip here as well. Frame perfect pause. I mentioned those before, where you skip the dialogue box that appears on the same frame that you pause. I'm going to grab this. Nice. He walked off the correct side of the podium at least. There's also sometimes there's a random chance your character will stutter during this cutscene and waste 1 second. I think he got it, or he paused a frame too early. He did. He paused a frame too early. He was not able to skip this dialogue. Yeah, that was the 100th power star. He can go 120th. He can climb the endless stairs now. And after this, he just has to beat the last castle in the final boss sequence, and then he's done. Come in well underestimate, I'd say, at this point. Depending on how the final castle goes, it's still pretty unpredictable. I always tell people never to get attached to this game, to runs of this game, because there are so many places to die. Or not. It's not about dying, but there are so many places to lose a lot of time, and just the run can die. And he's explaining now, there is one more chance to do a dialogue skip, which in Japanese is called kaiwa cancel. Translates to conversation cancel. And the last one in the game that he can get is the biggest time save too, so we can keep our breath held for that last cutscene skip, or Kaiwa cancelled. World record for this game was achieved 2 days ago by an American runner, Cracker Bean, and is 1 hour, 15 minutes, and 47 seconds. This beat the current runner's previous world record from 2 weeks ago of 1 hour, 16 minutes, and 34 seconds. The times have been coming down really recently in this game. And this is his last chance. He didn't go for it. I'm going to tell him about that slash next chance we get. Why didn't you go for the swag slash, Schaf? Here's the bananas. Alright, I'm not in on why he's getting bananas exactly. I'm doing another refresh here real quick. He walks to the final castle. He's holding map glitch for this screen because he skipped a cutscene in this last time he was on this screen. If he lets go, the cutscene will play. So he has to get right to the loading zone of the next screen and let go of map glitch at the same time so that he can avoid watching this cutscene. It's actually not that hard to position it. Alright. This is the Pemo Pemo God. You need the 4 miracle items that I mentioned before, and it'll take you to the final castle, which is a really cool castle. Lots of cool tricks. We'll see if he gets some of the more riskier strats or if he goes for safer. Continuing to complement the background music of this game. It's just never stopped. All right, let's see what he goes for. He goes for a ground slide here to go into this wall to clip him up to the next section of this climbing section. I like to do a water slide from the bottom. It's much more reliable. It's another thing where, yeah, Schaf is just so good at the ground slides. To him, doing a crazy frame perfect trick isn't as much of a big deal, I guess, to some others. And doing a slide from down here is another route. If you follow the fans right from the top here, if you just jump along all of them instead of doing that slide, it's like the same exact time. And that's a cool little ladder clip. You can skip having to climb that ladder. And that jump is a lot more scary looking than it actually is. So it's nice that you can just do that jump there. Yeah, exactly. Schaf doesn't care if something's easier or more reliable. It doesn't matter to him. That's a nice slide there. That one control. If the wall doesn't let you in, even though you've done a perfect slide. Still got a few slides to go. This is what I like to call the cubbyhole slide. Can be pretty tricky if you're not precise. Oh, because it's another one where you have to slide out of bounds and then walk in bounds again. Schaf didn't quite get it right away, but pretty quick recovery there, as long as he manages to finish it. All right, he made it up. Okay, sorry about that. Fresh again. That was quick. All right, now he's almost finished the first segment of this castle, and he'll be outside soon. Really, it's a lot of slides in a row leading up to the end. Really intense finale to the run, where you make it this far, but you still have a lot of difficult tricks to go. He's getting really trolled by this last slide. Yeah, always, he's saying that always the ones that are easy to him, they seem to just block you. Think you're going to get through this slide perfectly, then it blocks you. I call this the easiest clip in the game because you don't have to slide. You can just walk into that one. We're not sure why it's there, but we're very grateful for it. This is the final castle, with Musical Castle Part 2. And in this room is the very last slide of the game. You got it right away. Slides are done. Now it's just a matter of running to the end. There is one more big obstacle, and that's the rotating room, the hexagon-shaped rotating room. There's a couple of ways to get through it in a faster cycle where you don't have to worry about the pits in the room. We'll see how he manages it. Okay. He was a bit slow there. Oh my god, he went for a Makori slash. I think that was just as a little fun thing. It is possible to Makori slash across this room using the ladder there, similar to the Benkei skip. But this is the more typical ways to run through on a quick cycle where you're ahead of the rotating pits. All right, we'll see what he does here. This is the last dialogue skip in the game. Paused. Did he get it? No. A few frames too early. At least a frame too early. And here comes Gorgeous My Stage. This is the best cutscene in any game ever. This is the fruit of the villain's labor. They've put together all this sinister, evil plot, captured an entire an entire island of Japan, Kyushu, raised it into outer space, all for this. Enjoy. Highly recommend going and watching this cutscene after this run in all its glory. Schaf is singing along. He's actually singing along into the banana, like it's a karaoke microphone. Karaoke time! Melody, sweet memory. 夢を続き今夜は Oh gorgeous my stage. Dum, dum, dum. He just said, I think that was the biggest clap I've gotten all run. Thank you all so much. Here comes one more time. Dash! 燃える太陽背に受けて行くぞ発進マシンがうなる俺は機械たたち死んだ Hey! 今解き放ってよ鋼の魂行くぜ Breakdown 悪い奴らをぶち壊せ必殺限界パワーだ百列パンチ俺はゴージャスインパクト So he was eating a banana while he was singing. And doing the speed run. Good job, Schaf. 3,000 people watching the Japanese stream on Twitch right now. Very impressive. He says he's embarrassed. Don't be embarrassed, Schaf. We all love your singing. What about the rest of that banana, dude? He's only eaten half of it. Alright, something about the game I can say. He needs coins for the next boss. So even though he's just doing this auto-scroll in a straight line, the stuff he kills will give him coins, and he needs enough to beat this final boss. Da-da-dash! The audience is asking him to eat the banana. How many Rio did he end with? I didn't catch it. Clearly it was not 420. That's the goal. Okay, and here he's using an interesting technique to hit the Z button really fast. He's using two different fingers alternating on the Z button. I believe he's using the knuckle of one of his middle fingers and the index finger alternated. It's crazy. And look how much damage he did. That was more than usual. He's like normally I get around 550 remaining health on this. Fires the laser. And just a little bit more damage. He should. Sometimes he throws out. Yeah, he throws out the chain pipe at the last one. Banana power. We're getting a lot of banana power coming from the chat. It's actually looking like a pretty good time too. And this is the final boss, which he's gonna plan on stun locking. This is D'étoile, which is French for star. Japanese game. Being played by Schaf, which is German for sheep. Japanese speedrunner. He missed the first chain pipe throw. That's rough. But not a big deal. Quick recovery, and now let's see if he can just stun lock the boss until it's time to shoot the laser and watch the final cutscene, because that's part of the timing. Because it uses a strange Japanese timing where we finish the run in the middle of the last cutscene. I'll let you all know. The laser does 400 damage, so once he gets and the kick at the end of the combo does 100. So once he gets the boss between 4 and 5, he can do the final kick and the final laser. And we got it! Ijo desu. Owari. Good job, Schaf. Haru-sama desu. Yes, he's explaining now that we wait until the full blank white screen at the end of this cutscene, and then the timer stops. So after the... but he doesn't have to play anymore, he said. Fernandez! スタントステージビームが我々の手にある限り、日本のゴージャスなステージに、うるせえ。フェルナンデズじゃねえ、ゴエモンだ。See, our final time here is actually better than my PB, so he did a really good job. And that's time. We wait for the big old white screen. 1:18:53, fantastic time. Fantastic marathon run. I think that's a marathon record. Fairly certain of that. So it's really good he got to do it. I really enjoyed watching that. This game's always a treat to watch running. Schaf does all of his RTA of this game. He knows that North Americans watch it, so he does it on Twitch as well as Nico. There are other runners of this game. You go to speedrun.com and look this up. Just follow all of the channels on there and follow this game, and you'll get to see more. It's really cool to watch a speedrun for, especially if you remember it, because there's so much stuff that you don't do in a casual run that you just wouldn't even know is part of this game. And we're still discovering new weird things about this game all the time. There's a secret that the Japanese players knew about where you can make new NPCs pop up by pushing all the buttons in a random part of the game, and a new NPC will pop up. And we didn't know about that until like a month ago, and we've all played the game for like 20 years or something. So this game's fantastic. There's always something new to discover in it, and the speed run's really challenging and really a treat to watch. So thanks to Schaf for doing that. Thanks to everyone watching. Otsukare-sama desu. Thank you, Fiesel, for hosting and letting me do commentary.
Well, thank you very much. You did a great job with it. I think chat would agree that the singing might have been the best part of the highlight of the marathon today.
Oh, wow. Well, I had a lot of fun, and the chat was great. And both chats were great.
All right. Well, thank you